Yep, you sound good.
Excellent.
Sound really good. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me give a super quick introduction because I'm really excited about this particular interview. I'm excited about all the interviews, but this one specifically is going to take us a little bit of a different turn than a lot of the people that we talk to. A lot of the traders that we talk to are equity or option or futures traders. These two particular gentlemen, Alejandro and Daniel, these guys have worked on and created and are behind a really, really cool cryptocurrency blockchain production and creation. So, Daniel and Alejandro, are you able to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So our background as it pertains specifically to fintech actually started around 3 years ago. What we basically figured out was that particularly with blockchain, you saw a lot of people that were focused on more of the trading aspect of crypto, right? So Ethereum, Bitcoin, all that stuff. What we saw was that there was, we were kind of at the, it was like the early 2000s, right? So you were kind of in the Netscapes or the Napster eras. And what we wanted to do was build skills around it so that when you have consolidation with interesting ITOs, ICOs, then we could go in there, right, and actually build out products and take advantage of like the new, the new Amazons that will arise in that space.
Yeah.
So that's actually Kinesis. That's a project that we're actively involved in. Our company is Shokworks. Kinesis is one of our partnering companies, and
yep.
We're behind a lot of the technology. But there are others that you can look in. There are crypto bucks, all kinds of stuff as it pertains to fintech.
So when you're talking about getting into Shopworks, what exactly was the initial creation mode behind it? Like, why would you start? When did you start? All that kind of good stuff.
So actually, the reasoning behind it was actually necessity to be totally. That's not the company though. Sorry, I think that's Shopworks. Right now, we're actually rebranding our website, but we'll maybe you can get on our LinkedIn or something of the sorts.
Yep.
But the rationale behind Shokworks was really purely out of necessity. I had an IP fund. That fund, unfortunately, execution was a big bottleneck, right? So I had to get rid of my partners that were in charge of product, move to South America, build a team that initially comprised of 20 engineers. Then that quickly scaled up to 300 in about 3 years, right? And we started off in the sports and entertainment market, advertising technology. We started off with major teams in Colombia, Mexico, Ecuador, then migrated to Europe, Real Madrid, Barcelona, those brands, those teams. And then we took a turn towards fintech. And more importantly, what we did was we added a venture component to a services industry. So what we do is we offer cost plus models, and we take stakes in these companies. We get involved in the marketing, the management, every aspect of product. And we've amassed about 35 portfolio companies to date. We sit on about 33 boards also.
There you go, man. Heck yes. I love it. I think that's incredible. Because this is such a revolutionary space, and what a great time for you to be in, because really with the payment transfer gateways and everything that's really occurring with cash and cashless societies, especially with the whole COVID situation, this is working out perfect for you guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're very lucky. We're in, very strange times, and somehow our business, has been thriving. And again, like you said, it's contactless payments. It's getting creative in how we, how we design solutions that are kind of in tune with the zeitgeist right now.
Yeah. Yeah, gotcha. So, that's a lot of work goes into startups and creations. And so again, just from one entrepreneur to another, man, high five. Because I know how much work, blood, sweat, tears, frustration, long nights. I get it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And congratulations to you as well. You have a great audience, a very interactive show. It's fantastic.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. So here's kind of my other questions. We're talking about a little bit about the whole blockchain process. How much in the weeds can you get into regarding how this specifically works on the blockchain?
And in what capacity?
So are you using an ERC20 token to facilitate it? Are you creating your own blockchain? Are you doing something based on something else?
Okay, gotcha. So it really varies. It goes from project to project, company to company. So in some, we really just take commodity aspects such as payments, right? So
Mm-hmm.
converting in payments, for instance, Litecoin to US dollars, so crypto to fiat, that's one aspect of it. Remittances, that's more a non-custodial wallet that we actually used QR codes to massify it. The idea is how do I get my grandmother to use it? So we did
Yeah.
a note with a QR code, and that was the logic behind it. Then in other cases, sometimes we use, in the case of Kinesis, what the vision, and that was actually my partner's vision, was to basically digitize gold one-to-one using the Stellar blockchain. Then we've also done ERC20 tokens, smart contracts, and that's, a totally different beast.
That's a whole different beast, man. But that's really cool that you're going to be kind of going down that direction, going down that road.
Totally.
It's amazing that you're partnering with these are some big brands, man. These are some global brands, and that you have a huge team behind you who are working on this. How do you facilitate? I mean, the big question a lot of people have, how do you, as an entrepreneur, manage your time on a daily basis with all the things that you have going on? What does your schedule look like?
Honestly, it depends. So typically I like to have right now I've been out of schedule for the past 5 weeks or so.
Yeah.
But under normal circumstances, typically I'd start my day at 4 a.m. Right? It's just I need some time to be quiet, right? To kind of just do things without being disturbed.
Yep.
But then we have business in London, we have business in Asia, we have business in Australia in particular. So really start getting bombarded since 6 a.m. And the day just goes from there. In reality, there's no real set routine, to be totally honest with you.
That's okay. Yeah. But so you just you do wake up, you get your downtime, you get your quiet time, and you just kind of start handling everything.
Yeah. I wish I could say that I meditate and then have, a breakfast and whatever, but that's kind of more reactive than anything, to be perfectly honest with you.
Hey man, that is, the company is called Real Life Trading. That is real life. Sometimes you just got to be in the grind and you just got to move.
Totally.
There's
and also, just any opportunity that arises, anything that's good, we just pounce on it.
Yeah. How do you find your opportunities? Do you have a sales force? Do you reach out to them yourself? Do you have someone who does that, or do they kind of come to you at this point?
A little bit of both. So we've been lucky that we've built, a very strong brand through word of mouth. So a lot of things come our way. We have a sales force. We also, do a bit of marketing, but typically it's word of mouth, and then just kind of meeting people and just capitalizing on stuff.
Yep. What's your take on the future of not only just Bitcoin, but just cryptocurrencies in general, blockchain? What's your opinion on where we kind of can go from here?
So I don't know. I think it's the future of the capital markets, in my opinion. I just think you'll start to see everything tokenized, right? So you'll have almost fractionalized shares of everything from real estate to art to intellectual property, and it'll be transferred through smart contracts. So it might eliminate really complicated aspects of counterparty risk. So I kind of see it maybe as a future of just asset transfer in general. But that might be wishful thinking.
No, dude, that's really interesting. So you're talking about fractalization of, wow, I've never even thought about that. Art, owning small pieces of.
Yeah, if a Picasso or Warhol,
Yeah. Wow.
Right, as a college student.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really, really interesting thought. I mean, your opinion on the payments back and forth and smart contracts as it relates to either voting, healthcare, or real estate. Do you have any opinions on those three?
Yeah. So I mean, those are notoriously, you could say, backwards markets, right? Or industries or areas, right? So I think it would be very helpful. I think that, the problem is getting people to actually adopt it and trust it. But as far as, being HIPAA compliant and health, I think blockchain is perfect. Voting, it makes sense, to be able to vote from your phone and actually have it in a distributed ledger. And real estate, again, it's almost like in the 19th century. I think it would be right for it. And you're already getting started there.
Who's getting behind that?
A lot of companies are tokenizing real estate. You're seeing a lot of, crowd finance, blockchain-based projects. I think they're really starting to take off, particularly in Asia, though, not so much in the States. So in Singapore and Labuan, Malaysia, areas like that.
Wow. That is amazing. So yeah, blockchain-based voting. I mean, that's going to be I personally cannot wait for that because we're talking such extremely invasive and disruptive procedures at that point where you can remove gerrymandering totally. You now have so many more trackable methodologies. People don't have to leave. People don't have to go out. I mean, like you said, you can do it from your phone or your IP or any other approach.
Yeah, no, and they've already started doing blockchain-based voting in countries like Switzerland, and it's gone tremendously well. Everything backed on Ethereum, it's gone fantastic, especially now with this election that we're having so many troubles with. I mean, it would be ideal, you know, why we're the number one economy in the world. Why are we not doing our voting through a blockchain-based system, you know?
Yeah.
Or maybe some states will start like adopting pilot projects, right? Who knows, right? Municipalities, we'll see. TBD.
Yep. Yeah. Good old TBD. But no, man, that's going to be really, really exciting approach. And I think you guys are absolutely correct. I'm so glad that you're really on the cutting edge of this and like your fingers on the pulse, because it's just honestly the Wild West still. And there's so much information out there, both misinformation and good information, but a lot of people are trying to wrap their heads around how this whole process works. So let's kind of go back to the basics for a second. Either Alejandro or Daniel, whichever one you prefer. Can you guys give us like a very beginner basic rundown of what the blockchain is?
Yeah, it's actually super simple, right? If you just boil it down to like the first principles, it's all it really is a distributed ledger system. It's just basically it's almost like it's a database. That's all it is. It's a distributed database that basically, yeah, no, the website is not live yet. Right?
I sent you, Jerremy, on our chat. If you want to share what I sent you on the WhatsApp,
Okay.
I sent you the portfolio and the deck. You know, you can scroll through that. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, perfect.
But overall, it's basically a distributed ledger technology that allows for, secure transfer of information, of assets. That's really all it is, like in a nutshell. I'm trying to boil it down.
Yeah, so sometimes, Jerremy, people describe it as an empty Excel file, right? And kind of, that's where the chain begins, from the Genesis block that they talk about. And these Excel files, they go connecting one by one.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. A lot of times I'll also try to explain it to a lot of people. If we have to go really granular, I kind of say it's like a railroad track system.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin would be kind of like the train that goes on the railroad that carries really heavy stuff. So something machinery or like oil or coal or something heavy. And then Ethereum is more like concrete.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think like Ethereum, it was cool, like the idea behind it. I don't know, the execution, we'll see, but the idea was kind of like a distributed app store of sorts, right? So a way to create apps that could facilitate smart contracts.
Yep. And the smart contracts, I mean, that's the thing that I always tell people, at least personally, I'm always the most excited about, because as you guys are mentioning, you have so many applications and so many uses, and especially in other countries. A lot of people forget that this is a global thing. We're not talking about just the US. You guys mentioned so many countries and organizations and borders that can be impacted, changed, reflected, and disrupted immediately, or at least very soon.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, I think that actually the application, if we really want to get, if you want to give us a little rope, is probably a lot more, at least at this moment in time, it's a lot more applicable to emerging markets, like everything from providing digital banks on your phone to the unbanked in other countries, all the way to land titles and South America or Africa. So you do see all kinds of applications over there.
Also with energy too. I mean, so when you're talking about exactly having there's a lot of really interesting tokenizations and companies that are trying to focus on how to transfer and help the energy grid in different countries to get people to have more access quicker and also more trackable information, as opposed to when you're talking about the unbanked, they can start building a credit score and a credit history and just a rating of their overall, responsibility as a customer based on their transactions through some type of blockchain promotional.
Yeah, absolutely. And the information is secure. It's kept private. You need AI a little bit to have like different matching criteria, but ultimately, you can create all kinds of marketplaces. using this technology.
Love it, man. And again, if anyone has any questions in the chat pane, feel free to throw them in. We have one person. They said, what do you think percentage-wise is the best crypto ? Ripple. I'm personally, Ripple's my least favorite of all the cryptos. I don't know if you guys have the same opinion on that or not, but it's just everyone has the same story on what Ripple is, how it's going to work, how it's going to be used. And again, we can always trade anything. Anything can be traded. Anything can go in and out. You can make money doing whatever you want. But Ripple is my opinion, is not really specifically going to be the greatest overall achievement.
Unfortunately, I'm partial to the ones that I'm involved with.
Yeah,
so I can really answer this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Joseph has a really good question for you guys. He says, will you have ways for businesses who use your payment platform to receive donations through your platform? I'm looking for a company similar to Patreon that accepts cryptocurrency.
Absolutely, we do. Yes, we do.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Let me try to, I think I downloaded this. I'm gonna pull up, this is the PDF that you guys just sent me as far as the deck 2020. So we got the company overview. How'd you come up with the name Shokworks?
Shokworks, it was kind of like a play on words between, different like Japanese crafts and then with, actually that deck is not up to date. If you want, just can you pull up the portfolio instead of that one?
Sure.
Sorry, it's just very outdated.
Yep, no worries.
But yeah, we came through like different aspects of craftsmanship in Japan, all the way to Skunkworks, which was like the Lockheed Martin division that, invented the F-16. That was very like the way they worked was very private, it was very kind of focused on product more than anything else in the company.
Yeah. Yeah, gotcha. And Joseph, if you have any other questions, again, feel free to throw them in the chat pane if anyone has any.
Yeah, this one is perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My pleasure, man. No worries at all. So StubHub, I mean, this is an interesting one, man, because again, when you're talking about tickets, there are so many platforms that make it easy, but there's also so many that don't. I think this is a phenomenal company for you guys to be a part of and be interacting with, because there are so many really, really great things that you can do, I guess, again, not only with the personal ticket, but being able to scan and being able to use that information, finding your seat, having all that information created to say, I want this delivered to me, this is where I'll be at, all that tracking, all that data, that's going to be amazing.
Agreed. No, that would be amazing. And if we could push the envelope even further, that would be great.
What does that look like, pushing the envelope farther?
Well, look, like actually incorporating blockchain in there could be fun.
Agreed. Yep. Totally agree. So when you're working on your startup, when you guys are really getting into this environment, what were the two biggest challenges that you had as a company or as a startup team?
I mean, honestly, the biggest one, because we're self-funded. I mean, now things are going very well, but the first 2 years were brutal. Having to make payroll every month was insane. Tapping into savings, all kinds of stuff. Because a lot of companies just raise a lot of money and then just disappear in 2 years. We really just consolidated the first 2 years, and then things went very well. And now we can, we have the luxury of investing in a myriad of projects.
Yeah.
We don't really answer to anyone.
Which is amazing. And that's an incredible way to bootstrap it, to do their own capital, but it just gets really, really scary.
Yeah, agreed. I mean,
mean,
look, there are at times where if certain sources of funding come, typically it would be more involved in like a lot of the portfolio companies, but we're open to it, but under our terms, not under, out of necessity.
Right. So are you going to be doing any tokenizations yourself as far as like an ICO or anything of that nature?
We might. So right now we're cooking up this idea of Shokworks 2.0, which we'll be announcing very, very shortly. But the idea is to basically to disrupt the freelancing market. So put these guys, 99 Design, Upwork, just put them out of business is the idea. Just disrupt that market.
Tell me more about that. That's a big one, man. So I mean, what's your vision for that?
Well, no, the idea is to, I'll actually announce it formally next week. I'll do like a live webinar. What I could do is I could put a link up on your show if anyone's interested, and for an hour, I'll go through every aspect of it. But ultimately, it's providing teams at scale.
Definitely throw me that link, man, because that is 100% going to be such an influential and impactful piece of how work is done going forward. You know, I would say for the next decade. I mean, with the internet and COVID situation and everyone working globally, that is going to be a massive impact.
Totally. The idea is to kind of empower everyone to potentially become an entrepreneur in the services industry. That's the vision behind Shock 2.0.
I love it, man. I love it. What's your take on companies like Shopify or Square? Are they getting into these spaces in a way that you think is reasonable, or are they doing things that too slow?
No, I think they're brilliant companies, and a lot of what I was telling you behind Shokworks 2.0 is really inspired by Shopify. So Shopify, you know, they allowed everyone to become pretty much an e-commerce entrepreneur, right? So
yep.
It's a similar case. And Square is just doing phenomenally well. They're gonna, you know, they have more data than any bank, right? They have far less cost per acquisition. You know, it's a phenomenal business in my opinion, from a fundamentals perspective.
Yeah. Do you think that there's ever going to be any specialization, or that Tesla wants to enter some type of blockchain approach? You think that Elon Musk is working on anything like that, or is that too far down the road?
I would be surprised if he isn't.
You'd be surprised if he isn't.
Steps ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
I would be very shocked if he isn't.
Yeah.
At least on the solar aspect.
Oh wow, interesting. So tell me what that would look like in your opinion.
Well, kind of creating a distributed marketplace for kind of what we were talking about with the energy sector.
Yeah.
I think Solar City and like the confluence with Tesla. I think that I mean, I'm just speaking out of my ass right now, but it could be something that he's cooking up.
Yeah, no, I think people are too focused on the cars and still evaluating as a car company, when in reality, what he's going to try and do is basically make each individual one of us a utility company. When you really think about it, through a very simple software where you can kind of, you know, give your excess energy back to the grid, sell it to the grid. And I think that's where he's heading, and people don't realize that he's about to disrupt. I don't even know how many trillions of dollars a utility company is worth right now, but he's definitely on the way to do that.
Yeah, the home solar pack, man, like the battery pack.
Right.
That's going to be. So I forget exactly who said it, but someone on Twitter was saying that if you think that Tesla's a vehicle company and you totally overlook the fact that they have gigafactories all over the world, you missed the point.
Correct. We already went through the phase of the cars. Now this upfront that you're seeing is people realizing what Alejandro's saying about his forward thinking in terms of solar and where we're heading.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was ultimately an energy savings, right? It's a sustainable development, you know, energy efficiency kind of play, right? So it's just taking it broadly across the spectrum. It's more an energy company than a vehicle company, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
And now he's heading. I know California's having a bunch of issues, you know, with their tax rates and everything going on. So Elon is going to Austin, and Shokworks is just following them behind them. We're going to go expand to Texas in the next 30, 60 days. We're moving offices to Dallas.
Right. Yeah. So our headquarters in the U.S. are New York City, Miami, but we're actually moving over to Dallas and Austin very, very shortly, probably within the next 30 days.
Love it, man. Well, congrats. That's huge. That's amazing. How many employees are you all totally working with now?
Oh, we're still figuring that part out. You know, we're gonna scale slow. It's what we do is we have our front office over in the States. We're basically active in more than 14 cities.
Yeah.
Our back office is in South America. And yeah, you know, we really like what's going on in Texas, and we're looking to make that a very strong hub for us.
Nice. I'm so proud of you guys, man. Congrats. This is so hard what you did. I hope some of the people who are listening realize the amount of work that this takes, because this space is still extremely new.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Jerremy, because when the whole pandemic came and people were literally like found out what Zoom and Slack was in March, we've been using that for 4 years. You know, It's just been the company culture. It's a new normal. So we kind of, you know, have over 300 employees working all over the world, and you know, using Zoom and Slack remotely.
Correct. We're kind of remote first, but at the same time, we also have physical offices. Yeah. But it's optional, right? If you want to go. If you don't. You know. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the way it should be with companies these days, because why would you not?
Agreed.
There's no need to not do that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Agreed.
Speaking of Zoom, there was a funny meme on Twitter where they were like, "Who's behind COVID 2019?" And then they did like the Scooby-Doo mask reveal, and it was Zoom. Because when this came out, I mean, Zoom was at its absolute relatively lowest at 65, and from 65 to 270. I mean, that's an amazing run up.
I think Jeremy, people completely forgot what Skype was. I don't even think people remember that.
Well, no, it's Teams technically, right? No, it's still being used though.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
Teams and Microsoft are actually doing well right now.
Everything is Zoom. Like
I don't know. Microsoft is doing very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are cruising. So Joseph has a really interesting note, and I'm totally interested in that link. So if one of you two want to post that in the chat pane, and then I'll take it. I'll make sure I put it in the show notes, and also I'll be there and send out some registrations for there, because I think that's going to be a really, really
perfect. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll send you the Zoom link the day before.
Okay.
Make the announcement, and I'll be doing a live webinar on Shokworks 2.0 and the vision behind it.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, I feel free, Jeremy, to share contacts with the group. I know I'm guessing a ton of people, probably need our help or want to inquire more. So feel free to.
Or if they just want to have a conversation, we're always happy to, to see where we can help people, or maybe learn stuff from your audience as well. Want to keep the conversation flowing.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's one gentleman in the chat pane, Joseph. He says, "I'm very interested in talking to you guys about a streaming platform that caters to donation payments. Are you partnered with a company already doing this?"
We've done similar things, but not in the way that he's mentioning. And yeah, absolutely, we're keen to have a conversation on it.
Okay. Do you have a email, website, LinkedIn? How you prefer people to contact you too?
Yeah, I think maybe I can put my email here if you'd like.
Okay. Yeah, throw it in there. It can be a support email. I know you probably.
I could also post my WhatsApp, but.
Yeah, that works. So that's the perfect email. Okay, got it. at shopworks.io. Got it. So I'll put that in the description box below. And again, if you guys want to email, just be cognizant of the fact that I'm sure Alejandro gets 416 emails a day. And, that's the way it works with any startup or any CEO or any company. But in general, I think, man, this is an approach that very few people are openly talking about in a really, really informative way. It's just in the simple fact of how blockchain technology and how the disruption in payment processing, but more than that, remittance, but more than that, like you mentioned, energy and voting and healthcare, and really just streaming this and getting a congruency across the globe. I mean, this is going to be an amazing, what a time to be alive.
I know. I agree. It's like probably the best time to be alive. There's a lot of things that you can kind of create that weren't, even think about biology right now, like a CRISPR kit, right? A kid can use it for a $200 monthly license, right? You can splice the human genome. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts. That is nuts. And I think isn't CRISPR publicly traded, CRSPR?
Yeah.
Yep. So
yeah, CRISPR Cas9, I think.
What else do you like about that company?
Oh, no, not the company. It's more the actual technology.
Okay, got it. Yeah, but CRISPR Therapeutics. I mean, this is talk about another volatile stock.
I have no idea who they are, to be honest.
No, it's okay. No, it's all good. But yeah, it is publicly traded, man. It's out there. That's one of those situations where when I talk to people who are extremely intelligent and well-rounded and really well-versed, like as both of you are, I normally say, make sure to be an owner, not just a consumer. If you know a lot of these companies that you're going to be using, interacting with, you know the technology, you know the breakthrough, you know the disruption. Even if you buy 3 shares of the company, just so you're having some of the piece of their hard work. I mean, that's how you get wealth created.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, if you have kind of an information edge, like an asymmetry where you kind of know an industry intimately, I mean, dabble in, right?
That's it. That's how you do well. And you guys have, I'm really excited. Can I share this portfolio with other people, this link?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Share anything you want.
Okay. Awesome.
We're keen to, to see how this can help others. And again, just keep the conversation going.
Yep. Okay, man. Will do. Well, dude, gentlemen, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for informing us and giving us a peek into the future, because this will be one of those interviews that people will come back to in the future, or in the future, coming back into the past and go, wow, that's amazing how spot on they were and what they're talking about and the thoughts and the theories and the projections. So, yeah,
Well,
man.
Thank you for having
you
us.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. It was great. It was phenomenal. Thanks for, helping us showcase what we're doing. And also, again, congratulations for your forum and your audience.
Man, my absolute pleasure. Thank you as well. So, gentlemen, have a great rest of your day.
You too,
Thanks,
Jeremy.
you too.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right, take care. Beautiful. Again, team, got to learn stuff. That's how you do it. I want to say thank you, Andres, for connecting me with Alejandro and with Daniel. It's super wonderful just to speak to people who are so wise in their field and their technology and then their growth and their aspect, and just grow your brain, grow some fragments, grow the pieces that you might not know even exist, learn a little bit, ask as stupid of questions as you possibly want. No one generally cares. It's all about trying to help you grow and help you understand how all this amazing applications can be created. Joseph says all the possibilities, ... Yes, for sure. Terry says great interview and company. Totally agree. Andres says they are from Venezuela, raised in Miami. I love it. Hector says growing that brain. Yeah, growing the brain and the bank account. Good trade on TJ Maxx, team. Joseph says I could nerd out with him for hours. Yeah, man. Maybe you can throw him on one of your podcasts as well. I know you got some podcast stuff coming up. I must say, though, that is a phenomenal exit on TJ Maxx, was it not? Whoo, man. Getting it by 6 pennies. That was really good. Great job, team. We don't have to hold through this insane retrace that's happening. And Vips, oh, we almost got it. We almost got Vips. Low of it was 1870. We had an order at 1863. Papa says, how can we view the PDF file, Jeremy? Great question. I shared the link in the chat pane, but I don't know if you can actually access that link. So what I'll do is I'll get a download link and I'll make sure that you guys can access it. I'll be posting it in Slack as well. So I know you're part of Slack, Padma, so I'll make sure I throw it in there so you guys can check it out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My pleasure. You're super welcome. And again, great interview.